This episode of Boss Rush After Dark is brought to you by, well, you. If you want to learn how to support our family of podcasts, head over to patreon.com/bossrushmedia or search for us on the Patreon app on your smart device. Thanks for helping us build something better.
Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to Boss Rush After Dark, the alternative podcast show for the Boss Rush Network. It's your boy, LeRon Dawkins, back in the house with my co-host, Mr. Corey Derrick, tonight. What's up?
Hey, man. You left me hanging for 2 episodes, including episode 69. You know?
I know. I
had a 6 without the 9. You know how not fun that is? I'm just kidding.
There's such thing as a 68 now. Oh, you want?
It's fine. Steph and Pat were here. They helped round it out. So
you hit 969 basically.
That's what we like to call the old Eiffel Tower. All right. That's so gross. I don't even.
I do apologize for everyone that's missed me the last couple of episodes. Like I had some stuff going on. I had to go visit my mom for Mother's Day, and I'm not saying that like it was like a chore or whatnot. I actually did go home, genuinely visit my mom and spend some time with her, some much needed time with her, because it's been a while since I've been home to visit my mom. But also just like I've explained before in a few episodes, but the work-life balance thing, kind of kicked my ass the past couple of weeks and stuff like that. So it was one of those things I just had to take some time, stuff like that. So apologies for leaving you and Stephanie hanging, though. Speaking of which, Stephanie is not here tonight because she's got her own thing of work life going on right now, where her real life job dictated that she had to be somewhere outside the state of Massachusetts.
Yep. Sausage party tonight, guys.
You wouldn't have it any other way, though.
Nope. There's only one sausage for me, LeRon. What?
That's how off my game I am, because I usually have something for that.
I know. I was waiting for it. Man. Look, LeRon. Everybody has performance issues one time or another. You just gotta.
Hey! I guess I'll be on Twitter using the promo code for Blue Chew.
I mean, yeah, sure. If you need it.
I did miss you guys though. Like you guys noticed, I immediately, as soon as I knew what time recording was wrapping, I was like, hey guys, how's the show? How's the recording?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean it was good. I mean, and Pat came on, filled in. He's Pat. I want to get Pat more involved somehow. Some way, shape, or form. So, and with some of the other things that we've been doing, I kind of want to I love having all these great guests on the main show, right? But sometimes I miss having our podcast back of just I feel like, as much as I love all the guests that we've had on, they've kind of been more interview type shows recently. Yeah. And we already have that. So I kind of want to aim them towards that at some point, but anyways.
It's funny how the Boss Rush podcast kind of just transmuted into the interview podcast.
Yeah. So, I mean, don't get me wrong. I want guests on to come on, but I want them to come on to be on the podcast, not to have an hour and a half interview and then we never get to any of the things we really wanted to talk about.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I do have a question though. Did Stephanie in any one of the 2 episodes I was on, did she host one of the? Did she actually play the lead chair?
Nope.
That's sissy. Sissy.
Look, man, that's what I'm here for. Just
Stephanie, wherever you're at right now, you are a weenie.
We should both sit out an episode and see if she'll host. like
Well,
maybe
we
not this
we
show, but
will.
like a Boss Rush podcast where you and I
Yeah,
both just sit out and like
yeah. I
she
mean,
has to host and run the show.
we'll make sure she has a panel of people, so it's not just her by herself in an echo chamber. But
Oh yeah,
yeah, we should, we should do it to her one time.
yeah. Oh, while you were gone, you missed it. I almost had to do a Nintendo Power Block by myself.
Oh man. You know what?
The
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about it
Stephanie,
after recording.
well, Stephanie actually. I mean, there's nothing really to talk about, but Stephanie came in and saved saved the show. So
Oh
you know,
man. Oh man.
she's not all bad, guys. She's not all bad.
What happened to Ed? I
He
don't
had to
think Ed
work.
ever misses a
What do you
show.
mean?
Oh
What do you
well,
mean? What do you mean happened to Ed? He had to work. Come on, we know the drill
man,
here.
man. Well,
They
I
can't
mean,
just leave him alone for a weekend.
those those things happen sometimes. Yeah, that's why you guys are going on Sundays. Like man.
Yeah, man.
Hmm.
Good times, you know.
Ah,
Good.
yeah. Sorry, just to get all this stuff out the way. You know the deal. Like check our show notes, or whether you're watching us on YouTube or listening to us on any of our podcast channels and stuff like that. You'll find all the information for how to get in contact with not just me and Corey and Stephanie, but also get in contact with Boss Rush proper as a whole. And all the links to everything that you can even know about us, so bossrush.net, all that stuff will be out there as well. So, um, it's kind of weird being actually I don't know why I say it's kind of weird being two of us because like we've done twosomes before.
It's true.
We've done many a twosome, so I don't even know why I led with like it's weird because it's not that weird.
It's not that weird.
Actually,
It's not that weird.
actually it would be weird if we didn't talk to each other. That'd be the weird part.
Yeah, but it's we can cuddle afterwards. It's fine.
Oh yeah,
It's
oh
all
yeah,
good.
oh yeah. All right,
Oh man.
so hey, do we have something to talk about tonight?
Yeah, I mean we do. So I mean there was like a bunch of different topics we could have chosen from depending on who stayed for After Dark, but
Yeah,
nobody stayed. So
I know. It just
I
it just
I really think the term After Dark just I mean no offense to anybody out there really, but I think that term just scares people off because they just automatically assume it's a sexual show. And granted,
well,
about 50% of the shows probably are at some point.
yeah, yeah,
But I mean, do think the term After Dark kind of scares people off, especially that are like either industry people or like have a
yeah.
professional presence, and I mean, I've thought about that with my own job too, but whatever, it's my life. I can't help what happened in my life,
Well, I mean, originally for people who are just now joining us, as we're on episode 70 of After Dark, for people who are just now joining us, like the original idea for Boss Rush After Dark was we were going to take all the entire personality talent from Boss Rush and BossRush.net or Boss Rush Network back then, and we were all just going to have like round robin, like say anything type shows and stuff like that. So you guys would actually meet the people who are people and not so much they're the gaming personas and stuff like that. Because everything
Mhm.
you see on BossRush.net, like that's us in our gaming persona or our nerd persona, depending on if it's Boss Rush Entertainment, where we deal with like music, movies, comics, TV shows, all that stuff. So like yeah, like you see us kind of when we're always on, so kind of want to see us when we're turned off.
Mhm. Yeah, and it's I I thought I was going to be on like one or two episodes and then I was just not going to be a part of the show. That was like the original thought, in my
Yeah,
head when we kind of came up with this concept because it was a show that you pitched and like I don't hate the idea of After Dark, but like I don't know, I feel like it would have been a good idea to have other people kind of come in and rotate in. And there's so many people that have great personalities and stories,
mhm,
in Boss Rush and even outside of Boss Rush that like that aren't gaming related or like
yeah.
you know and it became this. And not there's nothing wrong with the way we're doing
Not
it
that
now.
anything's
It's
bad here. Yeah,
yeah, it's just that's not the show that we kind of envisioned going out.
yeah.
you know?
Honestly, my main reason for pitching this was because, like, hey, if we get a less serious show and we get more people to join, like, to, like, not so much join in, but just like hang out with us and stuff like that, it will make it easier for us to actually have people come onto the regular podcast shows like Crossroads, Boss Rush podcast, Nintendo Power Block. Back when we had, the damn Xbox show. What's that?
Arsenal X.
Arsenal X and stuff like that. It would have made people more fluid to actually join those shows and stuff like that. Whenever
Mhm.
we're looking for a guest spot, or even if they just volunteer and say, "Hey, like, can I be on the show this episode?" Stuff like that. That was the main thing. I was like, we were going to use this as an icebreaker because, like, we wanted people to realize that, like, we're not super rigid. Like, we have formats that we have to stick to with Crossroads, and Crossroads now being a PlayStation, PC, and Xbox show. Power Block, of course, being the flagship Nintendo show, and the Boss Rush podcast being honestly, the Boss Rush podcast is supposed to be the show where we talk about the popular event stuff, whether it's in gaming or entertainment.
Yeah. And, like, I mean, you and I kind of just talked about this a little bit before we started recording, but, like, maybe it was during the recording. I don't even remember anymore. But, like, I would like to talk about more current things on the Boss Rush podcast. So, like, I kind of want that schedule to change a little bit, where
Yeah.
maybe we release it on Friday for patrons and then free for everybody the following Monday. So we can talk about things like I would have loved to talk about the PlayStation showcase that happened today on today's show. Now, granted, we had a bunch of Zelda enthusiasts on the show, right? And so we were,
I know, just
Jess
just
and
pure torture for me.
and Grayson and Matt, right? So, which don't get me
Which
wrong,
that was a
it
great
was
show. That was a
it,
great show.
I love all three of them, and I love Zelda, and I could talk about it for 3 hours every day if you really wanted to. But, like, I want to talk. The Boss Rush podcast is not set up in a way to where we could talk about the PlayStation Showcase in a timely manner that fits both Patreon and the free feeds,
Yeah.
and so it's kind of a wash. And that's kind of the one thing I miss about Arsenal X. Really, is like keeping up on the gaming news at a regular
Hmm.
pace, because, like, I keep up on the Nintendo stuff because of Pal Block, but, like, there's never any Nintendo news worth talking about. We're always scraping the bottom of the barrel. Thank God Zelda came out, right? Like, it's like we're full.
I
We could have
know
a
you guys needed this bump from Legend of Zelda. You guys
yeah,
did, and I guarantee you, your viewership on Power Block has probably just like jumped, because like Zelda's out right now, and there's all sorts of stuff that people want to talk about.
yeah. And so, like, I would have loved to talk about the PlayStation Showcase, but, like I said, there's no real way to do that unless I would, barge my way on Crossroads, and uh, I
Well,
don't
if you want
always
to
want to
join
bother
us, if
you
you want to
guys.
join us next, if you want to join us next week, you can because with Andre living in Canada and stuff like that, like it takes time for him to watch this stuff, and sometimes he can't even watch it, like in real time when I watch.
Mhm.
Actually, I was busy at work, so like 4 o'clock. Usually Sony showcases are at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which I can usually
Mhm.
slide, but this one was at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I was like, oh, I'm still working, So I didn't actually like sit down and really watch the show until like an hour before we started recording Boss Rush podcast tonight and stuff like that. So
Mhm.
yeah, like right now with our configuration, with me and Andre, because for people who may not be aware, we're now Crossroads is now a 2-man show. Like it's like Stoy had work life things, work life situations come up and stuff like that. So Stoy is like stepped away from the network and stuff like that. We wish him the best. Like, no hard feelings. Like
Mhm.
always take care of you and your family first and stuff like that.
Mhm.
It's never gonna be a hard feeling situation for me. I'd love for him to come back to the show and stuff like that. But Andre and I, we're readjusting and stuff, and we're doing things with Crossroads now, to where unfortunately, like, we can't just stop what we're doing and do like right now, like live recaps or even like fast recap shows like after something like this happens.
I
The
know,
guys in Canada.
yeah, and I think that's not not to make this about our video game stuff, because I know that a lot of people that listen to the show actually like don't care about our video game stuff at all.
Yeah, yeah,
Because like this is listed under leisure and comedy, not not hobbies and video games. Uh, but you know, like that's the thing I think we're missing the most from our presence on Boss Rush is like those faster reaction style
mm,
YouTube videos, and it's just because we're all busy and we can't get them out in a timely manner.
yeah.
And you know, I mean, like today, when like they had PlayStation had their showcase on a Wednesday. Well, we have two shows to record on Wednesday, like you know, and you know, you're busy with work and trying to get home and get set up and you know
And that's
eat
the other thing
dinner
too. Like
and
PlayStation shows are usually on Thursdays, so this
I
was
know,
odd. This was
I know,
odd. Like who are they trying to beat?
right? Yeah. I mean, they already beat Xbox by like 2 weeks, and Nintendo's not having a direct anytime soon because they just, you know, like you said, who they trying to beat. So, uh, I don't. Where was I going with that? And like Wednesdays are like my busy days at work, and I didn't even get home till almost 7 o'clock tonight. You know, from work because of event next week and trying to prep for promotion and all that. So like
Mhm.
you know, I couldn't do it. Steph's out of town. Ed's working. You know, like who's gonna do it? You know, so
Yeah, who's manning
it's
the ship?
yeah. So, anyways, that's enough of that rant. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
I do foresee some changes coming in terms of scheduling out our podcast though, because I do want, especially on the video game side of things, like I do want to have that timely, at least a timely conversation in a podcast format on that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
So, um,
Mostly the thing to take away from this segment that we just did is that we're working on like stuff to like to try to make shows better and stuff like that and things like that.
mhm.
So yeah,
Yeah,
I know it's not the usual like BS that we talk about on After Dark, but like hey, like sometimes you gotta talk about like production, just so
yeah.
everybody
Well,
just
I
so
mean,
everybody's on the same page.
it affects our listeners too, to an extent too, because they're the they're
Yeah.
the ones like listening and making sure that we can still do this. I
Yeah,
mean,
for
like if
real.
we
For
had,
real. Thank you to our patrons.
yeah, Patreon's favorite show, After Dark. If you're not a patron, you can go to the Patreon and subscribe for $1 and get early access to lots of things. So, anyways, little plug there. If you want to be a Patreon producer, head on over to Patreon, patreon.com/bossrushmedia, and find out which tier is right for you. Our Patreon producers at the $5 tier or higher for this month are Adriel Munger, Austin Campbell, Celeste Roberts, Christian S., Sana Dierig, Francisco Santillan, and Rebecca Jewell. Thank you for your continued support. LeRon, we have a topic though on the dock. If you want to
Yeah.
answer it,
Okay. I think I'm equipped to answer this. I think.
I hope so. I think everybody had a. So our topic is crushes growing up, like our first crush, TV crushes, movie crushes, that kind of thing. So
Mm-hmm.
man, LeRon, there's so many 90s TV show characters that I had crushes on.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Same. Yeah. Same here. Same here. And I hate to spoil this for anybody. This is way before I realized I was bisexual. So like a lot of this is going to be like female crushes and stuff like that. Honestly.
Yeah. I mean, look though, man, it's fine, you know? It's all good.
Yeah.
Everybody
I feel like
everybody
sometimes people are looking for my alternative answers. I feel like it sometimes.
Yeah, but you can't you crush on who you crush on, and sometimes that changes over time, right? So,
Yep. Yep. Yep, buddy.
uh but I think my first real TV crush, and I think anybody in their, you know, late 20s, early 30s who grew up on Power Rangers, the original Pink Ranger, right? Amy
Oh
Jo
yeah.
Johnson is definitely up there. That and April from the first Ninja Turtles movie. Um,
Who was
I
the
for,
actress for?
I gotta look that up. What's her name? Jennifer Hogue, maybe. I forget what her name is. 90s Turtles April actress. Judith Hogue, that's her name.
Judith Hogue.
Yeah, dude, biggest crush on her ever. I don't know why. I just did. I was super into her, man. I was like I was like 5 and I was like I knew then. It's like yes. And then, obviously like the Pink Ranger from Power Rangers, and then I got into like real TV shows, like, well, quote unquote real, TGIF. Remember all that?
Oh
So,
yeah.
let me tell you a little story about Boy Meets World, okay? Okay.
Come on, come on. You don't even
Yes.
have to tell the little. You don't even have to tell the story. Like
No,
everyone
dude,
had a thing
I
for
do.
Danielle Fishel.
I do have to tell this story because it's not about her.
Oh, it's
Although
not.
although I did have a little crush on her, but like I was really into Angela on that show.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I was
You
like,
want to you want to know something wild about that though? Angela, Angela was one of the oldest members of the cast that was playing a
I know,
teenager.
I know, it was crazy. Like it was,
Yeah, like that was a grown ass woman.
yeah, I had such a thing for Angela, and like it was insane. And then I don't know, I was like, I don't know, because it was at a time where like, especially where I lived, like if you like, I mean, my dude, the town I grew up in was like so against like anybody that wasn't
Interracial stuff.
a white Mennonite person, right? So I was I was skating by being white, and I still was not accepted because I wasn't Mennonite. Okay, so I mean, it was it was a strange town. But anyways, yeah. So like nobody could relate to me because I really thought Angela was super hot. So
Oh yeah, I also agree too. Like as a matter of fact, I feel like when they introduce more of the female interest into the show, like we finally got to see that the world like existed outside of Topanga, you know.
mhm,
And
yeah,
and no offense to Danielle Fishel, I mean because like she's a very pretty woman,
mhm,
you know, stuff like that. But I think the problem is like maybe for me, I think my main problem was I saw her all the time. You
mhm,
know, it was like a breath of fresh air when there was a different female on the show.
mhm. Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
and like I mean, I think we were all kind of rooting for Sean too on that show because like he's
yeah,
kind of like the third wheel of the first like 5 seasons of that show.
yeah, the third wheel, and it always seemed like he was always having some sort of trouble, but that's because of his home life and stuff like that.
Mhm,
Uh, Yeah. Of course, one of my first TV crushes had to be Tiffany Amber Thiessen from Saved by the Bell. Good old Kelly Kapowski.
mm,
But honestly, I feel like all the girls on Saved by the Bell, like her, like Lark Voorhees who played Lisa Turtle, Elizabeth. Crap, what's her last name? That played Jesse. Um, yeah,
I
like all of them. Even the females that showed up in the cast when like the regulars were not there. Because
mhm,
like there was a season when there was no Tiffany Amber Thiessen, and and uh and Leah Remini showed up. That wasn't her original like stage credit at the time. She
mhm.
showed up, and I loved her character. I loved her character. I loved her. And then,
Who doesn't though? Like, I mean, gosh, I mean, she's like 80% of the reason why I watched King of Queens for so long.
yeah. Yeah, and shoot, there was another girl. She was like the biker chick when Jesse wasn't on for that one season, and she kind of had this will they won't they thing with Slater, just like how Slater was like like Jesse.
Mhm.
was her, and stuff like that. And like, so they found people that had really good chemistry with each other to play like these love interests and stuff like that. And every girl that bounced on and off that show, like I was like, man, like I love it,
Mhm. Yeah. And then man, another one. The reason why I stuck it through some like some really, me in horror movies, LeRon. You know
Yeah.
I
Oh,
I
so this is gonna be good because you don't do horror.
no, I don't. I don't. And so okay, so there's actually a couple stories here. So I watched I Know What You Did Last Summer because of Jennifer Love Hewitt.
Yes. Yeah.
And then and then
Yes.
and then I watched Scream because Naomi Campbell no,
Nev Campbell. Nev
Naomi
Campbell.
Nev Campbell was in it. Naomi Campbell.
Yo,
Right, I said
there's something. You know what? There's something so like just naturally beautiful about Nev Campbell.
I know.
Like man, like shit. Like I watched some shitty movies that she was in just because she was in it. Like Wild Things. Come on,
Mhm.
that movie was
Well,
terrible.
it's funny cuz I hadn't really thought about her really since the 90s and like early 2000s, right? And then like when my wife and I before we got married, we were watching House of Cards and she showed up in House of Cards and I'm like, "Oh my god, it's Nev
Yeah,
Campbell."
yeah.
So,
Yeah, like yeah. Going back to Know What You Did Last Summer, like I was never a Sarah Michelle Gellar person.
mhm.
I was
Yeah, I mean,
never
I wasn't either. Although like I'm not going to lie to you, like I'm not really like into like this is going to sound nuts, but I'm not like into blondes. Like traditionally like everybody's like we've got to have the hot blonde bombshell and I'm like I'm not nothing against Sarah Michelle Gellar. She's very pretty and whatever, but I'm just like
I
she
feel like
didn't do
she's more
anything for me.
attract. I feel like she's more attractive now in a more mature age than she was back then.
Yeah.
Um, because like if we look at Buffy the Vampire Slayer the series, like I was always about Les Dushku.
Oh yeah.
Always,
Dude. Oh
always.
my god, dude. I watched Bring It On so many times because of her.
Exactly.
Oh my god. Yeah, she's yeah. And what was that show she did after that? Dollhouse for a while? Like,
Dollhouse,
oh my
yeah.
god. I was like, oh my god.
Anytime you tell me Les Dushku's in something, I'm on it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Man, Bring It On, man. That movie. Not a great movie, but
I transferred from
ah,
Los Angeles. Your school has no gymnastics team. This is a last resort. Come on
right.
now.
Oh man. So good. So good. Also, back to the horror thing. Not
Yeah,
about an
yeah.
actress, but I had a really huge crush on one of my cousin's friends, and my cousin lived with us.
Uh-huh.
And like she invited this friend over, and we rented Blair Witch Project, and like I had the biggest crush on her, and I like sat with them to watch it just because I had a crush on her.
Okay, the Blair Witch Project probably fucked you up.
Oh my god, dude, Blair Witch Project was fucking awful. This was
That was a
before the this was before the internet. And remember the whole thing? Everybody thought it was real because there was
yeah,
no
yeah,
confirmation or anything, and that's how they marketed it and everything. Like,
yeah.
and I mean, obviously, at the end of the day, it's just like a found footage movie. But like it was like fucking scary, and like
It was like the original director for that movie gets props.
yeah, and so like I stuck through that movie because I had such a crush on my cousin's friend. Oh man, good
Mm,
times, good
yeah.
times.
Um,
Uh,
trying to think who are some other ones. Well, I'm old, so yeah. Like I definitely had a thing for Carrie Fisher back in the Star Wars days. Especially Return of the
mhm.
Jedi.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And so of course, when we transition to the prequel series and Natalie Portman shows up, hell yes. um, what's some other crushes that I could think of? Oh, um, all the little trashy ass like
Trash.
Fox Fox shows like Beverly Hills 90210. Like
Mhm.
I always you know I never was a Shannon Doherty fan, but I always loved Jenny Garth, and for some strange I did not like Tori Spelling at the beginning of this series, but by the end of this series, I was like, yeah, she can get it.
um, Fresh Prince was a big one for me.
Oh man. Oh, okay. You know what? I feel bad for saying this, but yeah, like because like I was definitely way past being a teenager, well, not way past being I was in my teenage years and stuff like that, and Tatiana Ali was definitely way too young for me back then.
Yeah, I mean, I was at the right age for that though. Like, I mean, I was like 10, 11, 12. Like,
But Karen
oh,
Parsons, who played Hillary, oh my god,
I
you
know.
can't tell me that you can't tell me that lady wasn't gorgeous.
Oh, dude, yeah. And then like, she was in remember Major Payne, the movie Major Payne. She was in that, and
Yeah,
like, she actually played like a real person instead of like ditzy Hillary, and it like made her so much more attractive.
yeah. Oh man. Shit. Like. Remember when Tyra Banks showed up as Will Smith's girlfriend for a couple of seasons? Like that.
Mhm.
I was in love with some Tyra Banks. I still am actually. But man, like I love me some
Yeah,
Tyra Banks.
yeah. I was my. I remember the first time I
Like,
ever saw Tyra Banks. Like my friend, who was he was like obsessed with her. He had like all these magazine rip tear outs taped up in his bedroom, and like he had this massive door sized poster of Tyra Banks on his door, and I was like, man, you really
was it
like
the
his
one?
whole.
Was it the one in like the? It was a Sports Illustrated one. Was it
Yep.
the? It was one the bikini. I want to say it was like a green like type bikini, right?
Yep. Yep.
I know the one.
hmm Yep. And so that was like his whole room was covered in. I remember it was every single picture was either a Dodge Viper or Tyra Banks, and I was like, man, dude. And then like we just sit there and play like we would play like PS1. We would play like Cool Borders while all these pictures of Tyra Banks were like staring at us. I'm like, man,
Man, like I saw a terrible ass Coyote Ugly because Tyra Banks and Piper Perabo was in that movie.
I know. Yeah, but like when you're that age, why else would you watch a movie with all these hot women in it, right? Like that's why you
Hey,
watched it
Hollywood
because they were
Hollywood knows how to market.
they knew. I mean, they knew what they were doing in the
And
'90s. I
they
mean,
know how to get the money.
yeah, I just man, I gotta. It's good times, you know.
Yeah.
Uh, also like it's gonna be a weird one, but like when I remember like seeing Gone in 60 Seconds for the first time, not a great movie, but
Yo.
like dirty, nasty Angelina Jolie in that movie
Dude,
with the
right?
blonde dreads.
Okay. Let me tell you right now. Like, I think the very first movie Angelina Jolie was in a movie called Hackers.
hmm
And I just did not see the draw, the attraction, or whatnot to her, and things like that. And so she was
hmm
in more movies, and everybody's going nuts about Angelina Jolie. And I'm like, she's got a weird shaped body. Like you catch her a certain way, like either her head's too big. We're not even going to talk about her facial structure, stuff like that. Or something, or like her shoulders are too broad. There was something about Angelina Jolie that like when she was first discovered, I was like, how are y'all saying this is hot? Gone in 60 Seconds comes out, and like I was completely thrown. I was like a one. It was like a 720. How bad my head spun, and I was like, okay, like I don't know what it is. Like, is it the blonde hair? Is it the blonde hair? Is it the whole like just like the that she exuded male energy in that movie. I'm like, is it
hmm
that? Because like I've always been attracted to tomboys, so I was like, is it that? What is
hmm
it, or is it just like that? She had a way of exuding raw sexuality in that movie unlike any other role she'd had up to that point. And at that point, I was all about Team Angelina at that point. And like then, like Mr. and Mrs. Smith comes out, and like we got hot ass Brad Pitt and hot ass Angelina Jolie in the same fucking movie. And I was like, oh my god, like what is happening here?
Yeah,
Like
yeah, man.
y'all making action movies with pretty people now.
Yeah.
Speaking of pretty people, Jessica Alba.
Dude, Sin City. Did you watch Sin City?
Yes.
Oh my god, that was like a very pivotal moment for me.
By the way,
Uh,
all the acting in Sin City was bad. It was
oh
bad.
yeah, no, the movie's
Even Bruce
terrible.
Willis's acting was bad. And I'm like, okay, if you guys, I understand you guys knew this is off of a graphic novel, but come on, guys, couldn't
Yeah.
y'all done better than this?
Oh yeah, no, that movie's terrible. But Steven Jessica Alba's all right.
Oh like man, like there was so much stuff
I
I
mean,
watched with Jessica Alba.
I even sat through the Fantastic Four movies.
Yeah.
Let me throw another one out there at you, LeRon.
Uh-huh.
So very, very, very pivotal movie for me. The Flintstones with Halle Berry as the secretary.
You know what? I have always loved Halle Berry.
Oh my god,
Always. Always. And I've sat through movies that I know people have been like, you sat through movies like that and did not get paid for, like Catwoman,
Catwoman.
which by the way, in my opinion, was not a bad movie. Maybe it was because I was concentrating on her outfit more than I was concentrating on the
Oh
plot of
man,
the
dude,
movie.
that outfit's amazing. Oh, dude,
Yeah, it is.
I even sat through that terrible James Bond movie that she was in.
Oh yeah. Oh
The
yeah.
last Pierce Brosnan one.
Which
Die
one
Another
was
Day.
that? Die Another Day. Yeah, Die Another Day.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah. Oh man,
yeah. No, and I feel like, because for the longest time, Halle Berry always had short hair. So whoa, wasn't it crazy? Like when started wearing her hair long and stuff like that. I was
it's
like,
short
yo,
again now
like,
though.
oh, it is short again. Yeah, like, man,
She
like,
can rock. She can rock that pixie cut. Let me tell you, it's
mhm.
so good. And then her in X-Men, like as Storm. Oh,
Yeah,
I mean, God, Halle Berry's just the greatest human being on the
yeah,
planet.
yeah. I've always been in love with Halle Berry.
Yeah.
Another one that I've always been in love with, this may be hit or miss for you, Vanessa Williams, like the first Black Miss America. Like, there's always been something so beautiful about her, and like my whole teenage heart, like went crazy, like when she did the Playboy shoot.
Mhm.
Didn't really see a whole bunch, just letting you know. But yeah, I had to
Tasteful.
sneak. Yeah. Yeah, but hey, but it was enough to get her stripped from her Miss America, like honors. But at that point, um, she turned around. She made a career out of that, though. Like, and not, I'm talking about, she made a career out of the disaster that was that.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
man. Jeez, good times. I mean, I, man, there's just so many things growing up that you like. I don't know, man. Like puberty is a weird stage, or like even growing out of it and like being older and like just
How
experiencing things in like your late teens, early 20s is like
how
there's
did our
some
parents keep a handle on us boys? Like,
God, I don't know, man. I don't know, man. Like,
because I remember my parents all the time threatening me never to get someone pregnant. I remember that.
oh, I know. Yeah,
And I'm like, what do you mean? They're telling me that before I was even realizing what I could do.
yeah,
Don't you dare get somebody pregnant. Like, what?
yeah.
I'm going down the street to my friend's house to play Nintendo. What are you talking about?
I know. So, man. So,
Oh, man.
yeah,
God.
I mean, they're like, you're not gonna live here if you don't get somebody pregnant. I'm like, I can't even.
Yes,
I'm
shit like
like,
that. Yeah.
like, there were points in my life I was like, I couldn't even get a girl to talk to me, let alone take their pants off and let me
Oh
do
yeah,
shit.
I
You know what
was
I
I
mean?
was a big fucking nerd back then. Like I had to work. I had to work and be fake to have girls like me back then in high school.
Yeah.
Like there was nothing cool enough about me to make girls like come after me. Like I was a nerd. Like I got straight A's in school for the most part. I was a mathlete. I was on the marching band. I was an
Oh man, you
ROTC. There
really
was
were.
nothing.
You really
There
were
was
a
nothing
nerd.
fucking cool about me. I only played sports for one season, and that was high school football, freshman year, ninth grade. I didn't even make it to an actual football game for the school. I took a hard stiff arm during a scrimmage practice, a scrimmage practice with my own team. Right, I took a hard stiff arm, like I hyperextended my wrist when I fell backwards and stuff like that,
Ooh,
and that was too much pain for me. I quit.
yeah, yeah, there were probably some points where I should have taken that route at some point too, but I didn't. So, oh man, that's a topic for another day. But like, you do stuff because you feel like you need to be popular, or because like, like sports is one of those things where like, so I, man, I was really good at football, but I like actually really didn't really enjoy it for the most part. Like, yeah, I enjoyed like the team aspect of it, but like I mostly did it because I was good at it and it would help me get to college at some point or something. At least at the
Yeah.
time, that's what I thought. And, whatever. But I also did it because like girls liked football players and football was like the biggest thing in our town. Like
I,
it was like Jesus and football. It's literally like the TV
oh,
town that you imagine.
wait! You grew up where? Because I thought they did this in Texas.
They do, but Ohio's the same way.
Okay,
It's
because I grew up in Texas. That's
yeah,
probably one of the reasons why I decided I was going to try out for football like one year.
yeah,
Yeah.
dude. It's literally like the
Oh yeah.
TV
Then
the
again,
TV
yeah.
town.
Ohio State. Yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah,
feel you.
yeah. So yeah, it was one of those things, and not that I didn't like enjoy it at at points, but it was like, man, it was a lot of stress and pain and
Oh
work, and
yeah. Oh
you know,
yeah, and you had to want to be there because like you were stuck at school for like 3 additional hours, like after the last bell rang, like shit, like going home when it's already dark, and there are no buses to take you home, so you had to make sure you had a ride,
yeah,
shit like that,
hmm
and because like depending on how your parents did it or how they worked, yeah, like somebody wasn't going to be able to pick you up at a certain time of the evening and stuff like that,
right,
um,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, good times, man. Let me tell you,
Hey, at least we didn't get anybody pregnant while we were in high school.
it's true. It's true. Go us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No ladies giving babies.
Yeah.
Um.
Now what's really funny though is like after high school, that's when I got popular. I don't understand,
Well, yeah, because we
that's
grew
also
into
that
ourselves.
Yeah, that's also when I found out that I wasn't as unpopular as I thought because like whenever I would go back to like where I graduated from and stuff like that, people would talk about me and they would talk about me in this way. I was like, uh, you shut the fuck up. You didn't say one single word to me when, when we were in
Right.
school.
Right. There's two instances of that for me where like one was like shortly after high school, the girl I had a huge crush on, like the entire run from like fourth grade all the way through like graduation, I had a crush on this girl, right?
Mhm.
Huge crush on this girl. And like it was to the point where like I had such a big crush on her that I would like avoid being around her because like it would like give me like I don't know, I would just like be
I've
anxiety
had
ridden,
those.
stressed out. And
Yeah.
like after like after like like a semester at college, and I like kind of, I guess, found myself or like felt better about myself, or college is where you go to like change who you are, and you're not constrained to what people thought of you in your tiny
Hmm.
bumfuck town of like 2,000 people. uh I I saw her, and she came up and said hi to me and asked me how like school was going and whatever, and like she asked me why I never asked her out. I'm like, are you
Oh, I can't stand
I'm
when
like
women do that. But
I'm like,
but
are you
you,
fucking kidding me? Like, no, you know why. Don't give me that shit. You know why. You were popular. You hung out with the popular kids. I was the art kid who tried to play sports and nobody liked me. Okay? That don't give me that
Exactly.
shit. Don't give me that
Yeah.
shit. So, uh
Yeah. Like
there was
yeah, it's so fucking weird. It's so fucking weird, and I don't get it. Maybe everybody was just afraid to talk to each other. Maybe that was the fucking problem.
maybe maybe. And then
Because how
for
the fuck are you gonna ask me that something like that in college?
right, right. And then
Like, Mitch, we could have been the homecoming king and queen, and you sit up here playing games and ask me this shit 2 years after graduation.
right. And then like for the high for our high school reunion, I don't remember if it was like 10 year or 15 year or whatever. I guess 10 would make
Oh,
the most sense. That like
somebody came up to you and
their
was like, they were ready to have your babies.
their
Back
their
then.
whole yeah, like the whole like the whole what do you call it? Like the school president, because they still exist in this little world where they have to like, there's like the class president and the class treasurer, and they're still like in those roles for like
Yeah,
the reunions and stuff.
I don't understand that.
Yeah. Well, they all emailed me and asked me if I was going to the reunion, and I never answered them because I'm like, no, you guys don't fucking want me there. You want me to go there and donate money and you know whatever. And so I like never answered these emails. And like the last like the very like they all emailed. I got all their emails in one day. Like the last one, like, hey, we really need your RSVP if you're coming. And so I literally like entered all their email addresses from all these different emails into one email, and I said I won't be going. You guys don't want me there, and then they stopped bothering me. Jesus Christ. Oh man. It's so funny, like when you're in school and you're not like the popular kid, where like everything gets so much better after
Yeah, for
that
real.
time in your life where like, you realize you're not these what these people think of you like doesn't even matter. I talked
Mhm.
to one person I went to high school with. I talked to one person, you know, and that's it. And like
You mean that's the
whatever.
only person you've kept in contact with since high
Yeah.
school?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it's even sadder for me. Like as an army brat, like I went to 6 different high schools during the high school curriculum, so I don't have anybody from any of my high schools that
Mhm.
and I take that back because one friend found me like, and he was one of my best friends in the ninth grade. He found me on Facebook, and we chat with each other from time to time. We talk about like one of these days we're gonna like this dude's still in Texas. Like it's crazy. This
Yeah.
dude's still in Texas, and I'm like, man, I'm over here in fucking Virginia. Like I've been here, I've been here all of my adult life.
Yeah, it's so funny like when you go on like Facebook and stuff and you see these people and they're all still living in town, all the Mennonites, like they work at the hardware store and they manage the hardware store, they manage the grocery store, they manage the like all the little shops around town are still run by all these people whose parents were running the shops when they were going to
Yeah.
school. And you know the it's just the one guy I knew like he went to law school, but he moved back there because he's like the lawyer there now, like the town lawyer or whatever you want to call it. Like,
Wow, you
it's
came up, buddy.
I'm like, man, I'm like, don't get me wrong, I still kind of, it's a nice place to see and be and whatever. Like, it's not busy. There's not a lot of people there, but like, my parents still live out there, right? But like, I'm so glad that I got out and didn't have to be affected by any of the anything from that
Mm-hmm.
time, you know. So, and like, I mean, I don't even care if like they hear me saying this. That's how much I don't care, you know. I just don't. So many like, especially like terrible memories that I don't even tell people because it's like not even worth it, you know. It's just, you know. So, good times.
You're right.
Good times.
Yeah. Um, well, I think we pretty much wrapped it up.
I think we did. I think we did. Definitely wrapped it
All
up
right.
when we didn't get any of those high school girls pregnant. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah, for real. For real. We can say that. We can say that for another episode. Like when did we lose our virginity? What age?
Oh God,
So y'all might want
that's
to stick around for that.
that's a fun story. I can't wait to tell that one.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, bet. All right, well, that's going to do it for us in this episode of Boss Rush After Dark. We want to thank you all for hanging out and listening to us. Like I said, check those show notes. You'll find all the information for how to get in contact with us and all the information for Greater Boss Rush proper. We're going to go ahead and sign off here. So thank you very much for checking us out on episode 70 of the Boss Rush After Dark, the alternative podcast show for the Boss Rush Network, where we talk about the stuff here that is not always content appropriate for the other anchor shows of the network. Y'all have a good night. You take care. And you know what? Revel in the fact that you enjoyed having like school crushes or boyhood, girlhood crushes and stuff like that. Hit us up on our Discord. Let us know some of your earliest crushes and stuff like that. And, like send us on more trips down memory lane. That's it for us tonight. We're heading out. We love you. We'll be back.